Can I give you another one? 8.5. A team, as you dig in, boys, we've got 4 we're going to break down today. I'm going to start with an interesting one, and that is Oregon State. Dig in. That offensive line is dumb. DJ, the running game. Now, I'm not an Uiagalelei fan, as I know you're on the same wavelength as I am, Amal Shaw, but let's go through this. There are 3 losses last year: USC, Washington, and Utah. Nothing to be embarrassed about. This is year 6 for Jonathan Smith, the former quarterback there. He was 10-3 last year, 6-3 in the Pac-12. That was the third 10-plus win season in history of 105 years at Oregon State. What am I trying to tell you? Not exactly a powerhouse in Corvallis when it comes to college football. Have you seen the dump they play in? In other words, for Jonathan Smith, it's working. Like, there's passion. There's a sense of kinship, of familiarity. He wants to win there. He wants to be there. That's good. And it's not like they're running some sort of wide open air raid. This team was built on toughness and defense. They led the Pac-12 in overall defense. They had a great offensive line. They can run the ball. They've got great backs. You know this, all with Martinez and Fenwick and Griffin. Like, this is, we'll get to the defense, but go ahead and run with it. You can talk about the quarterback and also what Jonathan Smith has done there, kind of setting a culture.
Yeah, real quick, I want to start with this offensive line. This thing is an elite offensive line. I would make the argument maybe Georgia or Michigan might have a better offensive line than them, but these guys are absolutely loaded. They're going to be a tough team to get really past, to get to the quarterback. Grant Stark comes in from Nevada for this O-line. He'll help them only to add to what we already seen with them. One other key transfer in this one is Calvin Hart from Illinois at the linebacker position. But you mentioned DJ Uiagalelei. I love Deshaun Fenwick. I thought he was a tremendous tailback for them last year. This is a team that people don't realize, Patrick, a couple of things. They only gave up 20 points per game. That's an impressive number in this conference. Average 32 on the offensive side of the ball. DJ Uiagalelei, he's got some good mobility, tough to tackle because of his size. If he can just be a little bit more accurate, I think this team's got a chance to be really dangerous. And guys, if you recall the USC game, that was probably one, if you ask Jonathan Smith, his team let get away. That was a game that they could have and should have won. So they're not that far away. And I know we talked about Washington, USC, Utah, maybe Oregon. But I think Oregon State, if you're looking for a team that could be a potential dark horse to win a conference in the Power 5, that maybe is an outside shot looking at longer odds, this team is extremely dangerous. Remember, I know they don't call it the Civil War anymore. I don't care. That game is going to be in Eugene. That'll be a tough matchup, but it could be potentially the last time to play the Ducks for a long time. So that'll be a big game. This team will be ready for that. They've got a schedule that's not going to be easy. They do have Utah at home, but they don't play the Trojans. That will help them a lot. I think this team's in a position to make another run of double-digit wins.
No USC, Amal Shaw on the schedule. They got Washington, UCLA, and as you mentioned, Utah at home. Big guy, Amal, what I like about this team is the recipe. Okay, great offensive line, as Amal just highlighted. Tremendous running backs. They go deep with the stable of backs. We'll get to the quarterback in a second. The best in the Pac-12, that was the defense. 5 of the top 7 tacklers return. Number 1 in the nation in red zone defense. The best against the run in their own league defensively. Safeties are vets, maybe some corners that are green, but it's a defense that returns starters, a defense that should be good, maybe not as good as last year. Amal, the recipe is there for a 9-10 win, and again, they're 11-1 in conference, as you mentioned, potentially a sleeper for Oregon State. But there's a big question, and we haven't discussed it. Every time I watched DJ at Clemson, I was underwhelmed.
Well, I would agree with you. So many times players get hyped up because of where they played or how they played in high school, and then they go to an elite program like Clemson, and they get a lot of credit for something that they may not have accomplished on the field. And I think that was the case with DJ Uiagalelei. I think he's got an opportunity to still be a very good quarterback. And if he plays to what his potential ceiling is, Patrick, this team could legitimately win the Pac-12. I'm telling you right now, maybe you guys aren't as high on him. I love Deshaun Fenwick. Watching him play last year, I was like, yo, this guy is an absolute dude. Him and Damian Martinez, these guys absolutely can ball out. I know Martinez had a 1,000-yard season, but I was more of a Fenwick fan. He's the guy I would have gone with. They have great ball control. They were in the top 3 in the league in terms of time of possession, 32 minutes per game. Here's another stat that jumped out to me, Patrick. They scored 56 touchdowns last year. They only gave up 31 in 13 games. You're averaging just under 2.5 touchdowns per game yielded. I said the 20 points per game. You're going to win a ton of football games. And guys, for my money, I don't know, you guys probably won't sign off on this. I know Dustin won't because he loves Kalen DeBoer. But I could make the argument that Jonathan Smith is the second best coach in the Pac-12. Kyle Whittingham is number one in my book.
Anthony Gold as well, the wide receiver, a big play threat for DJ. I don't disagree with you about Jonathan Smith. I think the interesting trivia, big guy, is the last time they won 10 games, he was the quarterback in Corvallis. It's a special situation happening as the Pac-12 disintegrates, but pretty cool. We haven't seen Oregon State. Remember Riley back in the day at Oregon State actually won a few games, but it's been a disaster. Anderson left Wisconsin, I believe it was, to go to Oregon State. He was a freaking disaster and a weird guy on top of it. Jonathan Smith deserves to be there. He's done a great job, big guy.
Yeah, futures-wise, I don't have a good read just because of the quarterback position. But this is a team week in and week out during the college football season since Jonathan Smith got there that I've been betting on, especially when they're, a dog of, like, let's say 8 points or greater. Just, it's a team that battles. They're super physical. They win at the line of scrimmage. And I just trust that they're prepared week in and week out to go up against a lot of teams in their own conference that have superior talent to them. Like, I know that they're going to give their best to those teams. The big question we keep dancing around is DJ. I'm not even going to try to say the last name because I always botch it. The thing that's frustrating, I don't know about for you guys, but the thing that frustrates me most about him is that when we first saw him burst on the scene, Notre Dame game, throws for 400 yards, big spot as a freshman, 4 or 5-star recruit to Clemson. He looks like a dude. Ever since jumping in and filling in back in, I guess it was 2020, he's been super tentative. Like, he just doesn't pull the trigger. He's not aggressive. Like, he looks like he's scared to lose, but also scared to win. Like, he's not making big plays when they matter. But the thing is, it's all there. All the skills are there. The arm is there. The legs are there. The accuracy's there. I think he can put it together. My hope is Jonathan Smith, a former quarterback, can elevate his game and coach him up to be that guy because, let's be real, Dabo Swinney recruited great quarterbacks. He didn't build Deshaun Watson. He didn't build Trevor Lawrence. And he gave up on Kelly Bryant, by the way, when he wasn't a superstar out of the gate.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. DJ, I'll give you a quick NFL comparison. Jacoby Brissett. In terms of waiting for guys to get open, he doesn't throw guys open. That's the difference between DJ Uiagalelei and the elite quarterbacks. He doesn't throw guys open. But I think this team is going to be pretty dangerous, especially if they get off to a good start. When you look at the tailback position, they are loaded, and they've got that running game back. So they're going to be a really dangerous team. Last year, I said DJ Uiagalelei would not be the starter halfway through the season.
Stop showing off.
Well, hold on a second. I'm going to tell you right now, Jonathan Smith, if this team does not wind up in a proper conference, this will be his last season in Corvallis and at Reser Stadium.
The Uiagalelei family is watching Sharp Money right now and saying, I'm all shocked. Could you repeat that? Because that was good.
Just showing off in front of us. You could say
of the 4 quarterbacks we have questions about today, 2 of them, Orange County. Joe Milton, Uiagalelei. I mean, this is a factory here. We're going to get to him. We're also going to talk about Drake May, I believe North Carolina, and Spencer Rattler, I think Arizona.
Yep, correct.
Could be wrong.
Correct.
Okay.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.